Hey, you're still with me. That's good. Okay, let's finish off lesson 2 of functions. We're working on example 1 and we're on part C. Okay, they want us to evaluate, which means find the value of f plus g at -2. Now, recognize that notation here? That's the same as this, isn't it? And if we know that in general, f plus g of x for this particular example is 2x cubed minus 2x squared minus 2x plus 12. Well, the only thing different between this form and this form is this -2. Really, they're saying that instead of f plus g of x, it's f plus g at -2. So everywhere we see x, we're going to be scooping it out and putting in -2. So I'm just using brackets right now to scoop it out, and then we're going to be putting in -2. Okay, if you put that in your calculator and simplify that, pause your video, and then I'll write the answer in a second. Okay, so did you get -8, I hope? That's what I got, so hopefully we're both right. Okay, so part 2 of this, f minus g. Okay, so we know from this example that f minus g for this particular question is -2x squared plus 2x. So what we're going to first do is write that just with x from above here. And then we're going to do the particular case that they're asking for, which is f minus g at √6 equals. Okay, so again, everywhere we see x, we're going to be subbing in √6. So I'm just going to use brackets to scoop out x, and then we're putting in √6. Okay, now when you see a radical like that given in the question, I would assume that they want the final answer in exact value form, which means no going to your calculator on this one. Otherwise, you'll end up with a decimal, okay, and it will no longer be exact. So let's simplify this. -2, √6 squared. So if you square a square root, that should eliminate the square root. So that would just be 6 plus, now 2 times √6, not much you can do with that. You would just simply multiply them together and it would be 2 √6. Okay, one more step to simplify. -2 times 6, -12. And we have plus 2 √6. And there we go. That's our final answer for f minus g at √6. Let's look at example 2. Okay, so a word problem we have here. A multimedia production company produces DVDs which cost $3 per unit. That's probably going to be useful later, so let's underline it. Okay, the fixed costs including the graphics are $10,000. Okay, and that's our fixed cost. Okay, irrespective of the number of DVDs produced. So if you don't produce any, it still costs $10,000. Each DVD retails for $15. Okay, retails, which means that's what they sell it for. All right, if X is the number of units produced or the number of DVDs produced, okay, that's going to be important to remember. Answer the following in terms of X, which means right-hand side should have an X somewhere. Okay, part A, write the total cost, C of X, as a function of the number of units produced. Well, cost, first of all, we'll start off with C of X then. Okay, number of units produced, X represents the number of units produced over the number of DVDs. Now, it mentioned that it costs them $10,000 no matter how many DVDs they produce. So let's start with that, $10,000. Then it also mentioned every time we made a unit, it costs $3. So we would have to take that $3 per unit multiplied by the number of units. Okay, so add $3 times the number of units, which would be X. Think of it this way. $3 per unit multiplied by the number of units, which is X number of units, and that's how we just get dollars. Okay, so our cost function would be C of X equals 10,000 plus 3X. Okay, let's write the revenue function, R of X. Revenue is the amount of money that you make okay, or how much you sell it for. So R of X, revenue. Okay, well, they mentioned in there that they retail for $15 each. So if we sell X number of DVDs, we should make $15 times X. Sell 10 of them, we make 15 times 10, or $150. So it's going to be 15X, okay? And that would be our revenue function, how much money we're going to make when we sell them. Part C, write the company's profit, P of X, as a function of the number of units produced. Well, how do we make a profit? Okay, we basically take our revenue, how much money we make if we sell something, minus our cost, what it costs to produce it or manufacture it. Okay, or in other words, in function notation, P of X would equal revenue, which is R of X, minus our cost, which is C of X. Let's sub in our actual functions for R of X and C of X. So R of X was 15X minus C of X, which was 10,000 plus 3X. Okay, now I didn't put brackets, and I should have, for the C of X function, because this negative sign is going to be multiplied through. So we need to be careful with our brackets on these. Okay, so let's do that. Let's multiply that negative through. 15x minus 10,000 minus 3x. Okay, anything to simplify? Collect like terms? Yes, there is. So P of x would equal 15x minus 3x is going to be 12x minus 10,000. There we go. There's our function, our profit function in terms of x. Okay, finally, determine the company's profit if 20,000 DVDs are produced. So they want profit, which means they want P of x. And we know our equation for that is 12x minus 10,000. And x would be our 20,000 DVDs. So x is equal to 20,000. All right, so we're going to go P at 20,000 to show that we're actually putting 20,000 in for x. And we substitute that in. And now we put that in our calculator, and we should get 230,000. And that would be our profit if 20,000 DVDs are produced. Okay, well, that ends our lesson 2, sum and difference operations on functions.